Safe Space Cafe. We have lots of political news. Well, we have O'Toole is just grilling Chrystia Freeland. Now, Chrystia Freeland, it looks like she's like the new leader. She's taking all the questions. She's doing all the media stuff. Where Trudeau's doing the smaller events. I don't know. Leave your comments below. Maybe I'm just reading into something that isn't. Here's about France. This was a...
Hello, order. Oral questions. Question orale. Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday the Prime Minister contradicted his own government on the shutdown of the pandemic warning system. In an interview last weekend, the Health Minister admitted the pandemic warning system had been shut down and the decision was being examined. Yesterday, the Prime Minister suggested his government made no change to the system. Both these things cannot be true, Mr. Speaker. Why is the government spreading misinformation about their shutting down of Canada's pandemic early warning system?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me be really clear about one thing. Canada today is facing a grave second wave of the coronavirus. Now is the time for all of us to come together and fight this second wave, which is ravaging Europe and our neighbour to the south. Now is the time for us to focus on what we can do going forward to save Canadian lives and to preserve the Canadian economy. There will be a time for postmortems, Mr. Speaker, but while the plane is flying, you don't try to change the engine.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, if you made some errors while the plane was taking off, you should learn them before the plane has to land, Mr. Speaker. There has been another disagreement between the shutting down of the pandemic warning system. In the same interview, the Health Minister said the review into closing the system hadn't started yet. Yesterday, the Prime Minister said the review was complete. So will the Deputy Prime Minister let this House know? Is it over? Has it started yet? And who will they appoint to review the decision to shut down Canada's pandemic warning system?
Honourable Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as I said, what I'm focused on, what the government is focused on, and what I believe all members of this House need to be focused on today is the crisis before us. We need to work together to fight the second wave, which is here right now. I do agree with the member opposite that there are lessons we can all learn from this global pandemic. And for me, one of those lessons is, as a country, going forward, we need to invest more in our public health systems. We need to invest more to be sure that when the next pandemic comes, Canada is even more prepared. And I know all members of this House will support us in doing so.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the Deputy Prime Minister is correct. We have to work together. We have to learn the lessons. So we'd like to learn who made the wrong decisions in her government, because a news report this morning reveals that the Deputy Prime Minister disagreed with the Health Minister's handling of the early pandemic. Particularly, she was in favour of closing the border immediately, and the Health Minister wanted to keep the border open, Mr. Speaker. So my question to the Deputy Prime Minister is simple. Why did the Prime Minister overrule her decision and favour the Health Minister's decision to keep our borders open, letting in thousands of more cases of COVID-19?
The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, when the global pandemic hit Canada, we introduced tougher restrictions on the Canada-US border than have existed in Canadian history. And what I'm especially proud of, Mr. Speaker, is that we have managed to have those restrictions in place without harming the vital trade between our two countries. That is a real accomplishment for the Canada-US relationship. It is an accomplishment by all Canadians, and I want especially to thank Canadians living along the border who have really enthusiastically understood the value of these restrictions and support them.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
La France, encore une fois, est
France has been attacked once again. Our values of openness and freedom of expression are the target of Islamist attacks. After the horrible murder of Professor Paddy, the Prime Minister took 10 days to mention the attack. That's a long time. Does this Prime Minister hesitate in standing up for our values and our allies? The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This question is really very important. I think all Canadians are absolutely horrified by the Nice attack. I think I speak for all members in this House today when I say that we stand with the French people and the people of Nice. France is one of Canada's most important and dear allies, and we will always show solidarity with France. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. When France is attacked, all democracies are being attacked. Here in Canada, the Prime Minister has promised to create de-radicalization centers. That is yet another broken promise, Mr. Speaker. Protecting Canadians against terrorist attacks should be a Prime Minister's priority. Why is he refusing to show leadership on this point? The Honourable Deputy Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we never refuse to show leadership when it comes to protecting the lives of Canadians. And for that reason, for our government, protecting Canadians here in Canada and abroad is a priority. But I would like to say something else because it's very important. That is that Canada, both today and in the future, stands in solidarity with France.
Well, you know what happened in France. There's just no comment. For some news about Safe Space Cafe, we just joined up together with Reuters, Thomson, you may know this, and Canadian Press. We're going to be using Canadian Press articles, and also Thomson Reuters is partnering in this. So those that are coming at us gives us a more balanced view, is in our opinion. So we'll have our view and their view. Leave your comments below. Stay tuned.